try to frame taking rest as performing an art, because then it's not something I have to do, but something I want to become better at, because artists want to become better at creating their artworks. Back in Australia, which means back to shirtless running, because summer is still around here, apparently. I knew New Zealand and Australia were different, but not that they were so different. The climate feels so much more humid over here. You can tell the difference immediately when you get back to Australia. But I kind of like it as well. So it's the week after the race. My body didn't feel great this week, to be honest. It was mainly because of that fall in the race I had last week. My knee was a bit sore, my hip as well. So I took it a little bit easier. Or at least I tried to take it a little bit easier, because I'm not very good at taking rest. For some people, exercising is difficult. For some people, taking rest is difficult. I'm definitely one of those persons for whom taking rest is very difficult, because I always want to push on. So that's actually one of the things I want to become better at this year. Taking rest when it's necessary. I mostly took rest towards the end of the week, because on Monday and Tuesday I was in a beautiful place in New Zealand, so I thought, well, I want to do some runs here, some longer runs as well. So I did a 27k run on Tuesday. I also filmed some of that run, so I will show you that right now. It's Tuesday morning. I'm in the southern part of New Zealand, in the Fiordland National Park. And when I went to the grocery store here, I saw an advertisement for a trail race. It's called the Kepler Challenge or something. It's held in December, but I checked out the courses and there was a 27k course, so I'm trying that one out today. It's a 1000-meter climb and then back. So it's a bit close to the 50k race, but recovery is going pretty well. And I'm in New Zealand right now, so I just want to make the most of it, so I'm just taking it easy today. Trying to do that climb. If it's really not going well, I will just go back earlier, but yeah, I will try to do the full 27k course of this Kepler Challenge. Yeah, it's another beautiful place, it's amazing. So I made it out of the forest. I'm glad I brought my jacket, because it's actually snowing up here. Pretty cold, but the views are awesome. So just made it to the top, now I'm heading back. So going down the same way. Yeah, it's an awesome track. I'm glad I did it, even though I'm a bit slower than usual, but it's fine. So that's the Kepler track, 27k completed. Really happy I did that, even though I felt a bit slow because of last week's race. But it didn't matter. Just enjoyed the run, took it easy. Got some nice views, as always. I try to frame taking rest as performing an art, because then it's not something I have to do, but something I want to become better at, because artists want to become better at creating their artworks. So it's a skill I want to improve. And if I see it that way, it becomes a little bit easier to actually take rest. Otherwise it just feels like an obligation or something I only have to do purely on discipline. And now it's something more positive. Something that is good and has value. So I know there are runners who do these things like a run streak, so running every day for as long as possible, or running 100 miles per week for as long as possible. And I'm kind of drawn to that mindset or that approach to running, but I know it wouldn't work for me because it would result in compulsive behavior. That's why I try to become better at taking rest, because for me it's easier to just go and push and it's difficult to take rest, so yeah, it wouldn't end up in healthy behavior, so that's why I try to avoid that, although I do think about it, I have to admit. But yeah, I don't think it will work. If it works for people, I respect it very much, so great job on those people who do, and if it works for them, keep on inspiring others to run more or further. Today I'm a little bit tired, maybe you can tell, because I woke up at 3 o'clock to catch an early flight back to Sydney, and now it's like 12 o'clock. Just doing an easy run. Tomorrow I will continue with my regular schedule. So this week was an easier week. Easy for me means, for example, this week I'm around 110 kilometers. I know for some of you that may still sound like a lot, but from my perspective it's easier. Also didn't do any speed work and a little bit less of elevation. Yeah, just to let the body recover from that race. Besides that fall, my legs were recovered pretty quick actually, so that's a good sign. But yeah, those are things you cannot really foresee. And it's 7 weeks until the Ultra Trail Australia. So I'm planning to do 5 weeks of hard work and then do a 2-week taper. I still run a lot during the taper, but it's a little bit less than the upcoming 5 weeks. So March was a good month. I ran around 670 kilometers, but most of all I think I did the most amount of elevation gain I ever did in 1 month. So I'm happy I could push that limit, and my body seems to handle it quite well. I don't know, the air in New Zealand just gave me a lot of energy to climb those mountains. A lot more energy than in Australia, I can tell you. It's like running in a tropical rainforest here. So in April I want to keep that momentum going. So my plan for the upcoming 5 weeks is to hit big mileage. So around that 160-170k per week mark, if my body allows it. And one specific thing I have planned for the upcoming weeks is a marathon. A flat road marathon. It's in 3 weeks in Newcastle, which is a few hours from Sydney. And maybe you're thinking, why would you run a road marathon 4 weeks before a 100k ultra trail? Well, first of all, because I just like to participate in events while I'm here. But secondly, I also think it will be beneficial for the ultra trail, because I just see it as a really long tempo session. So I'm not going to try to run a PR. I'm definitely not in shape to do that. I will try to go under 3 hours. That would be a really good training session. Yeah, we'll see if that's possible. It's a nice experiment. I haven't done that much speed work, but I've done a lot of elevation training, and your heart rate also goes up on the mountain, so I think I've gained some fitness over there, and I'm curious to see how that will result in the road marathon. But I'm not going to go all out because it's 4 weeks before the ultra trail. Don't want to spend all my energy there. The reason I'm taking that speed work seriously because I'm also a bit competitive. So I mainly do these ultra marathons for the personal experience. Yeah, it's just a special experience every time. Every ultra has a different story. You meet great people who have the same mindset. But I'm also a little bit competitive, and so far I was always able to finish in the top 10 of every ultra I did. So if I think back, I did a 58k. That was my first. Then a 50 miles, so 80 kilometers. Then a 6-hour run. And a 50k. My first 100k last year. And then the 50k last week. In all those races I was able to finish in the top 10. But I have to admit, they were small races. And the Ultra Trail Australia is a pretty big race with some professional runners. So this marathon will help me to take the speed work seriously. And hopefully will help me to run a fast time at the UTA 100. I'm not sure what that means because I don't know the course and the environment, so we'll see. I don't think top 10 is realistic for me. I'm pretty sure it's not, because there will be professional runners. So I think I will have to let the streak go. Okay, I just saw my first snake in Australia. I thought it was a stick or something, and when I almost stepped on it, it started to move. Wow, that was pretty scary, but I guess it's pretty common to see snakes around here. I hope they are harmless. I don't know actually. Maybe some locals can give me some advice on how to deal with the snakes on runs. But I'm a YouTuber. I would like to do a Q&A video. Before I started making videos, I always had this in my mind, like, it sounds fun to do a Q&A video. I don't know why. I think it's because it's like a collaboration between me and the people who watch my videos, which is a really cool aspect of YouTube. So I don't have that much subscribers, but if you are listening and you are curious about something, you want to know something about training, how I prepare for stuff, my mindset, or about my personal life, I don't know, it can be anything. Let me know, drop your question in the comments, and if I have enough questions I will make a video about them. So I'm heading back home now. Try to take it easy this week. Still ended up doing around 120 kilometers in just under 2,000 meters of elevation, so I'm not sure if I really can call it a recovery week, but at least I tried to become better at it and try to see it as an art. The art of taking days off. I hope that will be a theme throughout the year. Yeah, this was funny. I already knew for sure that I was back in Australia, but this was a moment I was really convinced. This guy passed by me in the car and he said, "I gaan mate." And I said, as an awkward Dutchman, "Hi." But then I definitely knew I'm back in Australia. It's good to be back for another 2 months. Yeah, stay tuned for the upcoming weeks, the last big part of training for the UTA 100.